Hey guys, what is up? I'm Weezna, and we are heading to the new location of True Sound Studios. And today we get to start doing some of the construction. Now, fortunately, this isn't like super exciting stuff, but it is the beginning stages of converting this garage back into my studio. So yeah, so today should be fun, and let's get going with the beginning stages of the new True Sound Studios. Okay, so we are finally here, and yeah, let's get inside and start framing. Gotta have all my camera gear and all the other stuff to be able to film this for you guys. And I know it doesn't look like much, but we've actually started on the studio here. Okay guys, so today I'm gonna cut the door opening and put in our door that is gonna allow us entry from outside of the house, and will kind of allow us to enter into this like little mini hallway before you go into the studio. I know I've mentioned this 100,000 times, but it's a room within a room, so we need to have like airlocks so that sound doesn't transfer right through just your normal studs. Everything needs to be separated and detached. So this is just door one out of a big system of doors. So this is just 1/2-inch plywood. On the other side of that is some sort of house wrap, and then there is the siding. So nothing too crazy. I'm just gonna cut through this with a circular saw and maybe a sawzall, just in case I can't, get through some of the areas, which I know I won't. These studs are actually holding up this garage as part of the structure. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting this thing out so we can get our door. Okay, time to pull it out of here.
37-inch opening.
So this is what it looks like from outside. You can see, cut through most of that siding up top. And then this is also the window we're gonna take out. We're gonna need 4 pieces of lumber. One's gonna run on the outside of this opening, and we'll go up just to the top of the opening, and that's where we'll put our header. Then there'll be another stud that'll go even to the inside of that, and that one will go from the very bottom all the way to the very top. Clamp this, and then we'll put another one on top. We need to take our level. It's good. Okay, so we got our jack studs in place, which is this one and this one. They're nailed, but now we got to put in our king studs, and these are the ones that go from the very bottom plate to the very top plate, and these go all the way up to the ceiling. See, it's a pretty good fit. So I'm gonna go ahead and permanently nail those in there. Okay, so you can see the 2 studs, they run all the way up here, but up top here, this is where the one ends. That'll be the top of the door, and then the other one carries the load all the way to the very top. And then I just did the same thing over here. That one goes to the top, that one stops there, and this one goes all the way down to the ground. Okay, so I got our 2 2x6s, and this is gonna be our header. Now, with a 2x4 wall, which is that wall, a 2x4 is actually 1.5 inches wide this way by 3.5 inches. So if we know that this is only 1.5 inches, this is 1.5 inches, this is 1.5 inches, we only have 3 inches, we need to get a depth of 3.5. So we have to fill in a 1/2 inch gap with something. So we have this OSB board, flake board, whatever you want to call it. It's exterior sheathing. And we're just gonna smush this in between these 2 studs, and then that gets us our perfect thickness, and that is how you make a header. So what I'm gonna do is lay this out, nail it from both sides, and then we can go ahead and throw it up top. So now I'm gonna just go ahead and nail this in, and we're just gonna add one more stud at the top here. And this doorway will be ready for a door. So obviously there'll be traffic in and out of this door, and you just want to protect that wood so it doesn't rot and, you know, cause another issue. So for the remaining sides of the doors and the top, I'm going to be using this. This is flashing tape. Well, very, very similar to what I just put on the bottom there. And this will finish off all the rest of the exposed lumber. So now it's all properly flashed. It's really just ready for us to put in the door. So I'm gonna put in the door. Oh, not very light. Okay guys, so it's in, it's all screwed in. This is actually not even the final door that's gonna go here. This was actually a door that we had left over from this house. Just to fill the space for right now while we wait for the actual door to come in. So the best doors for a recording studio are going to be totally solid, have the most amount of mass. Getting into these door type things, let's go over and let me show you. Now I've already finished taking out the garage door, and I've already framed it out and done everything, but I at least want to show you guys what it looks like. So let's go take a look at which once was the garage door area. Okay, so here is the area where the garage door once was. You can see we added this 32-inch door. We have it spray foamed for insulation value, because this area that you can see where this plywood is on the floor will actually be like the entryway, not only to the house, but you could also potentially enter the studio. This opening right here that isn't spray foam, that's going to be another door that will actually walk out into the actual garage that I have to build. But you can see over here where it's all framed out, all those 2x4s and all that OSB board. That is where the garage door once was. Nothing too crazy here. It's all 16 on center. You can see we ran a top plate above that big thick piece of wood. That was the original header for the garage door. And 16 on center just simply means it's 16 inches in between the middle of each 2x4. Very simply put, also a plate on the bottom, but that is treated lumber down here, along with some sill seal, just to make sure no bugs or critters get in it. Yeah, nothing too fun from the outside, but this is essentially, well, this is one of the walls of the studio, so this needs to be treated just like the rest of the house now. So just real quick, we'll take a look from the outside, because there is some exterior things that have to happen to make sure you protect all this lumber. So you can see from out here, that's the door, and we have this Tyvek house wrap on here, and this house wrap just protects all that lumber. We did a drip edge at the very bottom down there, along with some weatherproofing 1.5 feet up, just to really make sure that nothing is gonna start mold or begin to mold or rot. And you can see the little cutouts from where the garage door actually was, and that is really what it looks like from the outside. So right here, this is what is called the bottom plate. And this is going to make up our exterior wall. But it's just your standard 2x4, 1.5 by 3.5 inches. So not only do you have to have one on the bottom, but you also have to have one on the top. So you can see here, this whole top plate up here is going to follow this bottom plate. Now what we need to do is we need to go ahead and run studs from the very bottom here all the way up to the very top up there. And we need to do this 16 on center. Okay, so behind me, I've started framing this out. So we got all these studs that are going from the very top all the way down to the very bottom. What's important about this is choosing the space that you're going to be putting your studio in. Now, I have watched many of videos and talked to a lot of soundproofing and acoustic treatment companies. Now, they say when designing a recording studio, an 8-foot ceiling height is actually really bad. It creates these, I forget what it's actually called, I will look it up, but it creates these room modes, these resonant frequencies because of the 8-foot ceiling height from the very floor to the very ceiling, and apparently this is kind of bad. So this out here, this is 9.5-foot ceiling height, so another reason why I did the flooring the way I did, so we could really try to keep almost all that 9.5 feet. This is the actual door opening that will go into the studio. So you can enter from here, you can come in through this door, and then this is kind of like a teeny tiny little mudroom entryway that will end pretty much where this gun is. But then there'll be another door right here, and you can walk in and go into the studio. Obviously, this is not a studio right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue framing this. So I gotta bring all these studs all the way down to here, all the way down this hallway, and go ahead and just finish up this room. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do now. All these walls, besides that one door that's over there, all these walls are gonna have no doors, there's no windows, there's no outlets, there's no penetrations through any of these walls because we want to really contain that sound. Every time you put an outlet box in or a window or an additional door, that's one more way for sound to go ahead and leak through, deteriorate your soundproofing, all this, time and money you've spent in materials. So, okay, so the process is kind of straightforward. It's very repetitive. I went ahead and measured out 16 on center, all the way down on this bottom plate. Okay, so I just marked where 16 inches was so that I could go ahead and know exactly where that, at least the board on the bottom goes. Then I use, you don't have to use a laser, I chose to just because it kind of helps speed things up. I used a laser to set it up down here, which gives me a perfect line up to the ceiling so that I know that I'm obviously level. And then that just kind of makes it kind of quick, and I go ahead and air nail it. I put all the studs right on the marks, all the 16 on center marks that I made, and now I just very simply just need to go ahead and put some nails in here so that these don't move. And if things move like that, you can just take your hammer, just pound it back in a little bit, put your last nail in. And now that's in there, we'll move on to our next stud. Don't move much. Okay, so now that I nailed all these in at the bottom, now I'm going to set up this laser. So I got my laser level set up, and it's on the middle of the board, and you can see it starts to come off, so I know that I need to go ahead and up top move my board so that the laser line is directly in the middle. Okay, so from up top here you can see we need to just level that out. I just used my hammer. See, I missed that one a little bit. Okay, so now we're finally at the end of our wall, and now it's going to turn 90 degrees and run this way. So this last stud here kind of acts as two studs because it creates a nailing, screwing edge for the drywall here, and it also creates one here. So we kind of get to use one stud for two different purposes. So what I will often do is grab some screws and my impact wrench, and I will just screw them in. Now I can go from here, but sometimes that'll pull the board in, so often I'll just pull it from the thinner side of the board, from the 1.5 inch side, and just put a good angle on this. And just make sure that screw is all the way in there, nice and flush. Now, if you guys see over here, this is my drip thing. We got a leak in the ceiling, so. Anyways, yeah, let's keep going. Okay, it is done, finally. Got all of the exterior walls, which kind of also obviously double as this hallway. But this is the exterior of the studio. And as you can see, it comes down here. We kind of get into this like mud room area, entryway. But this is the entire exterior of the studio frame. So that means now everything has been, you know, at least framed out as far as the studio build goes. So now, obviously we need to start doing some of the other stuff. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Look for those videos coming soon. And if you guys want to check out any other information on recording, mixing, or mastering, go ahead and check out the over 160 other videos right here on the True Sound Studios YouTube channel. So thank you for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, click that like button and consider subscribing for more content. So not only do I make YouTube videos, but I also produce tracks and I can mix and master your music. So once again, thank you for watching this video. I'm Weezna and True Sound Studios is in your ears.